Welcome to my YouTube channel. Hit the like button, share your thoughts, subscribe, and tap the bell icon. The glitter trapped the laughter echoed louder than the music. It wasn't the fun kind of laughter, the sort that made you feel welcome. No, this laughter clawed at the walls, sharp and cruel, like glass scraping tile. Jenna stood frozen in the corner of the school gymnasium, her breath caught in her throat. Her fingers clutched the hem of her thrift store prom dresser, pale lavender gown her mom had stitched tighter at the waist to make it look new. She had saved every penny from babysitting, skipped lunches, and secretly sold her childhood books to buy the perfect shoes. Tonight was supposed to be magic, but now, magic was the last thing she felt, because someone had just dumped a full cup of bright red fruit punch down her back. She could still feel it soaking into the fabric, sticky and cold. Her spine stiffened with the shock, but her heart was already breaking. The music kept pulsing. People were dancing, lost in the rhythm, pretending not to see, pretending not to hear. But the bullies didn't pretend. Nacy, the queen bee of Southridge High, stood just a few feet away with her perfectly styled curls and a smirk that could slice through glass. Her entourage, Tasha Brielle and Lacey, huddled behind her like designer-clad shadows, clutching their phones, recording the moment like a pack of hyenas circling their prey. "Oh look," Macy cooed mockingly, "lavender's out of season." Anyway, the punch dripped down Jenna's legs. She tried to blink away the sting in her eyes, but the tears refused to obey. Her mascara was already betraying her, streaking down her cheeks. I didn't do anything to you," Jenna whispered, barely audible. Macy stepped forward, one manicured finger pointing at the stained dress. "That's the problem, Jenna. You exist. That's enough." Behind them, someone laughed. Jenna didn't see who. Maybe it was her math partner. Maybe it was no one. But the sound hit harder than the punch. Just then, a teacher passed by. Mr. Halvorsen, the soft-spoken English teacher. He looked at the scene, frowned slightly, and hesitated. But like most teachers at Southridge, he walked on. There was a prom king to crown, a chaperone to replace, a system to protect, and Jenna was invisible again. She turned away and ran, past the glitter balloons, past the silver streamers and fake smiles, out the gym doors, and into the darkness of the schoolyard. She didn't stop until she reached the edge of the empty football field. There, under the cold stadium lights, she collapsed onto the bleachers. The night air hit her skin, making the wet dress stick tighter to her back. She cried, but only for 30 seconds. That was all she allowed herself. Then, she sat up. She pulled off her heels, tossed them aside, and stared down at the ripped hem of her dress. There, in the harsh white glow, the ruined fabric looked like a symbol, a challenge, a line drawn. She reached into her small satin purse and pulled out her phone. There was only one message in her inbox that mattered tonight. It was from her older sister, Layla. "Layla, if they ever cross the line, call me. No questions asked." Layla had left town 3 years ago after dropping out of college. No one talked about her anymore. Some said she worked security for a shady tech company. Others whispered rumors about underground fight clubs or odd survival retreats in the desert. Jenna didn't know what was true, but she knew one thing. Layla had once broken a senior's arm in 8th grade for pulling Jenna's pigtails. She hit call. It rang once, then again, and then Layla answered. "Jenna." There was silence. Jenna's throat tightened, but her voice was steady when she spoke. "I need you." By the time Jenna made it home, the punch had dried stiff against her skin. Her mum was working a double shift at the hospital. She wouldn't be back until morning. Jenna stripped out of the dress and stuffed it into the laundry basket. But even from across the room, it reeked of cheap sugar and humiliation. She stared at herself in the bathroom mirror. Her eyes were swollen, hair tangled, and cheeks blotchy. But beneath it all, something had changed. She didn't look sad. She looked focused. Her phone buzzed. A message from Layla. "Meet me tomorrow, noon. The old scrapyard behind Miller's farm. Don't tell anyone." Jenna stared at the message. Then she smiled. The next morning, Jenna didn't go to school. She didn't check her social media, either, though her phone had dozens of notifications. No doubt someone had posted the punch video. Maybe even added slow motion. Maybe music. They always did. Instead, she dressed in black jeans, a hoodie, and tied her hair into a braid like Layla used to wear. She borrowed her mom's old bike and pedaled through town like a ghost. The scrapyard was quiet. Rusted machinery and forgotten metal parts surrounded the lot like sentinels. A dog barked somewhere in the distance. Wind rattled a broken chain link. Fence dot, and then, from behind a half-buried school bus, Layla appeared. She was taller than Jenna remembered, lean, powerful, and dressed in tactical boots and cargo pants. Her hair was shorter now, and she moved like someone who had seen danger, up close and didn't flinch anymore. Layla looked her sister up and down. "You okay?" Jenna nodded once. "I want to stop hiding." Layla tilted her head. "And you're sure?" "I'm done being the joke." A silence passed between them. Then Layla walked over to a battered shipping container, unlocked the door, and pulled it open. Inside was a space that didn't belong in this world. Punching bags, target dummies, weights, and shelves lined with strange gear, half military. There were notebooks, maps, and photographs pinned to corkboards. Jenna stepped inside. Her jaw dropped. "What is this?" Layla smirked. "This is where I teach girls like you how to fight back." Back at Southridge High, the day rolled on. Without Jenna, Macy and her crew laughed about prom punch girl and reenacted the scene for their Instagram stories. They thought it was over, but it had only just begun. Because Jenna had entered a new world, one where survival wasn't passive, where girls like her didn't cry and disappear. They trained, they studied, they fought, and when they returned, they came with a plan. The sisters' code. The first lesson Layla taught Jenna wasn't how to fight, it was how to breathe. "Breathing is everything," Layla said, standing in the center of the scrapyard bunker, barefoot on a cracked rubber mat. "Fear steals your breath first, and when it does, your brain forgets how to think. Control your breath, and you control the moment." Jenna nodded, trying not to let the weight of her shame crush her resolve. Her body still ached from the emotional bruises of prom night, but Layla didn't ask about it again. She didn't offer sympathy. She offered strength. "Close your eyes," Layla instructed. "Count to 4 as you breathe in. Then hold it. Count to 4 again. Exhale for 4. Repeat." Jenna obeyed, thought her fingers still shook, but her breath began to steady. By the end of that day, Jenna had learned more about her sister than she had in the past 3 years. Layla hadn't just disappeared, she'd built something. After escaping her own trauma at Southridge, Layla had found others, girls who had been silenced, mocked, bullied, or broken. She'd trained with ex-military instructors, learned psychological tactics, basic self-defense, and something she called pattern awareness. "Bullies aren't random," Layla said. "They follow patterns. They isolate, humiliate, and escalate, but they're lazy thinkers. They rely on fear. You break the pattern, you break them." Jenna listened like her life depended on it. Because it did. Over the next 2 weeks, Jenna lived a double life. In the mornings, she walked the halls of Southridge High like a ghost. She didn't fight back, not yet. She needed information, habits, routes, reactions. She took note of how Macy always walked with her iced coffee tilted just so, how Brielle always checked her reflection in the vending machine glass, how secretly hated confrontation and only followed the group out of fear of being next at night. She trained with Layla push-ups until her arms trembled, reflex drills with tennis balls, verbal defense strategies that rewired her instinct to stay silent. Layla made her spar first with her, then with a punching dummy named Macy Vinci. Jenna learned to strike fast, speak firmly, and never cower. On day 12, Layla handed her a black journal. "Write your plan," she said. "Not revenge reversal. Make them taste what they served you, but smarter." Jenna stared at the empty pages. Then she began to write. Back at school, the bullies didn't suspect a thing. They thought Jenna was just another broken girl licking her wounds. Macy had already moved on to terrorizing a freshman who wore her older sister's heels to school. But something about Jenna's silence started bothering her. "She's too quiet," Macy muttered one morning, scrolling through her followers, like she's waiting for something. "Maybe she dropped out," Tasha offered weakly. "No," Macy said, squinting. "She's watching us. I don't like it." She was right. Jenna had stopped reacting. No tears, no flinches, just calm, quiet presence. That scared Macy more than any scream. The first part of Jenna's plan began with a whisper. It started in the girls' locker room, after PA, as Macy adjusted her hair and Tasha posted a mirror selfie. Jenna quietly left a folded note on the bench. The handwriting was anonymous, the message simple. "He knows what you did. The video is gone." Macy found the note. Her smile faded. "What the hell is this?" she asked, eyes darting. No one knew, but Macy couldn't stop thinking about it. Who was he? What video? Was someone messing with her? By the next day, Macy had gone through every post, every message. Nothing was missing, but the seed of doubt had been planted. Jenna watched from her locker, expression unreadable. The next move hit Brio. Her phone started glitching. Random screenshots of her own messages kept appearing in her gallery. Things she'd said in group chats, things she'd never want public. Jenna hadn't hacked her. Layla had shown her how to create an app that mimicked the effect. A simple prank. But Brielle didn't know that. By lunch, Brielle was crying in the bathroom. One by one, the Queen's court was crumbling, and Jenna never laid a finger on them. But revenge wasn't enough. Jenna wasn't just dismantling their power, she was reclaiming her own. She began speaking up in class, volunteering for group work, helping others who sat alone at lunch. The shy girl who once shrank into corners was now making space calmly, quietly, with purpose. People noticed. Even teachers started to pay attention. Even Mr. Halvorsen stopped her after class one day and said, "You seem different." "I just remembered who I am," she replied softly. The final move came on a Thursday. Prom committee had called for an assembly to showcase the prom photos on the big screen in the auditorium. Sweet memories, pretty filters, perfect smiles. Jenna volunteered to help compile the slideshow. No one objected. They still assumed she was weak. Big mistake. With Layla's help, Jenna stitched a second file behind the slideshow one that was triggered midway through. It wasn't cruel, it wasn't fake, it was truth. Clips of the bullying, the punch, the laughter, freeze frames of Macy's smirk, of Jenna's face, frozen in pain. But then Jenna's journey, clips from her training, her running drills, sparring Layla, helping classmates, slow motion shots of her walking into school in confidence. She titled the surprise segment, "This is what you made, but not who I stayed." The day of the assembly arrived. Jenna sat in the back row. The first few minutes were normal music, selfies, confetti, graphics. Then the screen, glitched. And everything changed. Gasps filled the auditorium as the bullying played out. For everyone to see, teachers stiffened. Students murmured. Someone dropped their phone. Macy's face paled. She looked around in panic, trying to shout over the video, but it was too late. By the time the clip faded into Jenna, standing in front of a chalkboard, writing the words, "Forgive me," the silence in the room was deafening. Tears welled in the eyes of students who had laughed. Even some teachers looked ashamed. When the lights came on, no one looked at Macy. They looked at Jenna, and for the first time in years, she didn't lower her gaze. She stood up, shoulders square, heart steady. She walked out before anyone could speak. That night, Macy's group chat went dark. By morning, the school was buzzing. Parents called, administrators held emergency meetings, but Jenna didn't want apologies. She already had something better, her power, and she knew exactly what to do with it next. The backlash begins. The video had done its job. By Friday morning, Southridge High was a pressure cooker. Everyone had seen the footage, Jenna's soaked dress, Macy's cruel smirk, the eerie silence from bystanders. No filters, no excuses, just truth. But truth, when exposed like a wound, didn't bring instant healing. It brought reactions, explosions, and backlash. Did you see her face in that video? "I feel sick. I laughed when it happened. I didn't know, Is Macy getting suspended? Jenna's different now. Did you see the second half of the video? The training clips? She's scary. In a good way." Jenna could hear the whispers, every word echoing in the halls like static. And yet, she walked calmly, her head high. She wasn't looking for pity. She wasn't chasing revenge anymore. She was rebuilding the rules, her rules. But she also knew it wouldn't go down quietly. Sure enough, by third period, Jenna found a note in her locker, folded in half, written in that same neat, venom-laced cursive. "You think this is over? Meet me after school, alone. Parking lot." No signature. She didn't need one. Jenna slipped the note into her pocket, her pulse steady. She didn't need Layla for this part. Not anymore. After the final bell, Jenna walked to the parking lot as students emptied out. Some stayed behind, watching from behind bushes and buses. Sensing something was about to happen, Macy stood there, arms crossed, her designer jacket unzipped, her lip gloss gone. No camera crew this time. No backup. Just fury. "You set me up," she hissed. "You think you're some kind of hero now. I didn't set you up, Jenna replied quietly. You exposed yourself. I just hit play. You ruined my reputation. Jenna looked at her for a long moment. You ruined that when you poured punch down my back. I just stopped hiding. Macy stepped forward. You embarrassed me in front of the whole school. Jenna didn't flinch. You humiliated me in front of the whole school for 2 years. Silence. Macy's fists clenched. Jenna added, if you want to hit me, go ahead. But just know this time, I won't cry, and I won't run. Macy hesitated. There it was, again that terrifying calm. Jenna's face wasn't angry. It wasn't smug. It was solid, unshakable, and Macy hated it. She turned and stormed off, shoving past a group of stunned onlookers. Jenna exhaled, long and slow. She didn't win with fists, she won with truth. But battles rarely end cleanly. The next week, retaliation came in subtler ways. Someone filed an anonymous report claiming Jenna had edited the video to manipulate people. Her old baby photos were posted on a gossip page with cruel captions. A fake Instagram account appeared, that prom punch loser mocking her journey. Layla saw the posts. Want me to take them down? Jenna shook her head. No, let them try. I'm not afraid of shadows anymore. Layla smiled. That's my girl. By midweek, something unexpected happened. Students started speaking to Jenna, not in pity, but with respect. Trevor, from physics, told her he admired what she did. Hannah from yearbook said her little sister had been bullied too, and watching Jenna's video made her cry. Even Mrs. Samuels, the chemistry teacher with the permanent scowl, stopped Jenna after class and said, you reminded me why I became a teacher. Each word added a brick to the new foundation Jenna was building, not out of revenge, but out of meaning. Still, something felt unfinished, until one afternoon, Jenna received a DM that changed everything. From unknown user, 020, subject, you don't know me, but I saw what you did. I need your help. The message was long. It came from a girl named Zoe at a neighboring high school. She described a similar pattern: bullying, isolation, silence. She'd seen the video someone had reposted on TikTok. It gave her hope. And a question: can you show me how you changed? Jenna stared at the screen for a long time. Then she replied, yes, meet me tomorrow. Bring no fear, just truth. The next day, she brought Zoe to the scrapyard. Layla raised an eyebrow but said nothing. Jenna led the session herself. Breathing exercises, body language drills, eye contact. And then Jenna handed Zoe a blank journal. Write your plan, not revenge. Reversal. Make them feel your strength without becoming like them. Zoe nodded. Something had begun. By the end of the month, 3 more girls joined them, all from different schools, different stories, same wounds. Jenna's bunker became something bigger, a movement. They didn't call themselves victims, they called themselves the reclaimers. Meanwhile, Southridge High was changing. Teachers received sensitivity training. Students formed an anti-bullying task force. A quiet apology culture spread across the campus. Notes in lockers, kind messages, awkward but sincere attempts to repair old harm. Even Mr. Halvorsen invited Jenna to speak at an assembly on digital bullying. She wore a simple navy dress, hair tied back, no dramatic music, just her voice. And when she finished, the entire auditorium stood, not in pity, in respect. But Jenna didn't stop there. She knew some damage couldn't be undone. Some scars remained, so she started collecting anonymous stories from others who had suffered in silence. She published them online, carefully curated, anonymized and powerful. It went viral. One post read, they mocked my stutter. Now I'm a speech therapist. Another, they burned my hijab in middle school. I just passed the bar. Jenna titled the project, What They Couldn't Kill, and every post ended with the same line, I survived, so will you. As for Macy, she faded, her influence drained. Day by day her friends distanced themselves. She tried rebranding, posting growth journey, videos and fake apologies, but no one bought it. She transferred schools. By the end of the semester, no one threw a party, no one missed her. On the final day of the term, Jenna returned to the place it all began, the gymnasium, the scene of the punch, the laughter, the humiliation. It was empty now, just echo and memory. She walked to the center of the floor, looked up at the rafters, and whispered, I'm still here. No one clapped. No one cheered, but inside her chest, a warmth bloomed, a quiet, powerful victory. She had reclaimed more than her dignity. She had reclaimed her voice. The shadow that returned the peace didn't last. Just as Jenna's world began to steady when the scars began to feel like stories, not wounds. The past clawed its way back, not from Southridge, not from Macy, but from someone Jenna had tried hard to forget: her father. It started with a phone call. She hadn't heard his voice in 3 years, not since he left, not since the shouting, the slammed doors, and the silence that followed. She didn't answer. The voicemail came an hour later. "Jenna, it's me. I heard about the video, about what you did. I need to see you." She played it once, then again. The voice was rougher, slower, like he'd aged decades. Layla found her sitting on the floor of their small living room, staring at the wall, the phone still in her hand. "You okay?" Layla asked gently. Jenna didn't answer because she wasn't sure. That night, she barely slept. Her mind kept returning to the last fight, the night he left. He had been drinking. Their mother had already passed away, and the grief had twisted him into something cold. When Layla stepped between him and Jenna that night, everything fell apart. He vanished 2 days later. Now he wanted to come back. Now, after she had rebuilt everything. Why? She tried to shake it off and focus on the reclaimers. Their group had grown. Zoe brought 2 friends. A boy from another school reached out daily, who had been mercilessly mocked for his stutter and weight. They trained together in the scrapyard, and for the first time, Jenna led without Layla's help. They called her Coach Jay. She liked it. It didn't feel like pretending. But in the quiet moments between drills and laughter, her father's voice echoed. What did he want? Then came the second message, a letter. No return address. She unfolded the page with trembling fingers. "I watched the video 20 times. I cried. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I just want a chance to talk. 1 hour, public place, you choose. If not for me, then for you. I want to know the young woman you've become." Jenna sat still for a long time. Then she did something she hadn't done in years. She cried, not because she missed him, but because she didn't know. If she did, Layla was furious when she found out. "He doesn't deserve to walk back into your life just because you're strong now." Jenna nodded. "Maybe not, but maybe I need to hear what he has to say. Not for him, for me." Layla clenched her jaw, then sighed. "Then I'll be there. At a distance, just in case." They met at a diner near the old train tracks. Neutral ground. Jenna arrived first, her hair pulled into a low ponytail, a leather journal clutched tightly in her hand. She wore the same jacket she'd worn to the assembly, simple, strong hers. When he walked in, she almost didn't recognize him, thinner, grayer, eyes sunken with time and regret. He stopped a few feet from the table, unsure. She nodded toward the seat across from her. He sat, no hug, no apology. Just silence, until she spoke. "You watched the video?" He nodded. "I did. Why now?" He looked down at his hands. They were trembling. "Because I saw your mother in you, the way you stood, the way you didn't flinch, and I realized I missed everything. I missed you becoming her." Jenna's throat tightened. He continued. "I was broken when she died. I turned it on you, on Layla. I told myself leaving was better for you both, but really, I was a coward." She let the silence stretch, then, calmly, "Do you still drink?" "No," he said quietly, "not for 2 years." She believed him, but that didn't mean she forgave him. She looked him in the eyes. "You hurt us, you hurt me. I can't pretend it didn't happen." "I don't want you to pretend," he said. "I just want you to know I'm proud of you, whether you let me back in or not." Tears threatened. She blinked them away. "I don't know what comes next," she said. "That's okay," he replied. "Sometimes, the strength is in not knowing, and still showing up." They didn't hug, but when they stood to leave, he handed her something. A small weathered box. Inside was her mother's necklace, the one she thought had been lost forever. "I kept it. I always meant to give it back." Jenna nodded, closed the box, and walked away. She didn't look back. That night, she placed the necklace beside her journal. She stared at it, thinking. Then she wrote, "Closure isn't the end. It's the choice to stop bleeding for someone else's wounds." Meanwhile, something darker brewed in the background. Macy wasn't gone. She had moved schools, but not offline. On a private forum, she began posting under a fake name, twisting the story, claiming Jenna manipulated footage, that she orchestrated it all for fame. Some believed her, not many, but enough to leave cruel comments on Jenna's videos, enough to tag her in mocking memes. Jenna saw it. So did Layla. This isn't random, Layla said. She's planning something. It's not over. But Jenna wasn't afraid. Let her try. Still, it hurt. Jenna logged off for a few days, focused on the reclaimers, helped Eli prepare for his first public speaking event, helped Zoe start a podcast about healing. But something felt different. Heavy. Like a storm building. Then, one afternoon, a friend from school, Trevor, pulled her aside. Hey, someone hacked the school server, he whispered. They leaked every student's private records, including yours. Jenna's stomach dropped. She ran to the nearest computer. There it was, her old therapist records, her school disciplinary reports, even the email she'd sent to the principal about the bullying. Back when no one listened. All of it. Public. She felt like she'd been stripped bare. Again. She returned home that night and found Layla waiting. The TV was off, the lights dim. Layla held her old boxing gloves. This ends now, she said. Jenna nodded, agreed. The fire that fought back the school felt different now. Not because of anything Jenna did, but because of what had been done to her. Private documents, medical history, emails meant for the eyes of only one trusted adult, now screenshotted and passed around like dirty jokes. The air was heavy, not with laughter or curiosity, but guilt. Everyone knew who did it, but no one had proof. Not yet. The reclaimers met that evening in the scrapyard under pale amber light. A place that once echoed with the clank of metal now held something sacred. Eli had tears in his eyes. Zoe's jaw was locked tight. They had no right to post your stuff, she said. That's not exposure. That's war. Jenna didn't say anything for a long time. Then she lifted her chin and said, okay, no more reacting, no more defending. This time, we go first. Layla handed her a laptop. Say the word, and I'll trace the hack. I've been watching Macy's activity on that private server. Jenna's eyes narrowed. Let's see what the Queen of Cruelty's been hiding. A few clicks later, the truth lit up the screen. There it was, an IP address that matched Macy's new school login. Worse, she hadn't just leaked Jenna's files. She'd been collecting private information on dozens of students, Jenna's included. It was a digital hunting ground, a humiliation vault. A virus disguised as a trophy case. Jenna stared at the screen, then whispered, we expose her, this time, with everything. The next morning, Jenna made her move. She printed out screenshots, created a digital report of Macy's hacking trail, clear, undeniable. She included names, timestamps, even her own leaked documents, so no one could say she was protecting herself while throwing others under the bus. She packaged it all up and dropped it in the principal's inbox anonymously. Then she did the same with the school board and Macy's new school. 3 bombs, planted carefully. Ticking. Waiting. Then Jenna turned back to her purpose. She recorded a video, not a breakdown, not a revenge monologue, just truth. Hi, my name is Jenna Hale. You might know me from a video that went viral a few weeks ago, or maybe from the memes that followed. I want to talk about privacy, about what happens when your worst moments are made public by someone who wants to hurt you. I want to tell you this, it doesn't break you. Only you can do that. This is my story, but it's also Zoe's, Eli's, hundreds of others. We're still here, and that means something. If they can't stop us with shame, they can't stop us at all. She ended the video with the Reclaimers' motto, we survived, so will you. Then hit publish. By noon, the video had 30,000 views. By evening, 400,000. The next morning, it hit 1 million, and Macy's digital world, it burned. Her new school launched an immediate investigation. She was suspended. Her social accounts were deleted. Sponsors pulled out of her influencer deals. But the most chilling part, Macy released a voice memo. Jenna Hale thinks she's a hero, but she's just a manipulator who got lucky. If people really knew what she's capable of, they wouldn't clap, they'd run. It was a weak threat, but it worked on some. A few students on Jenna. A teacher pulled her aside and awkwardly asked if she had anger issues. The whispers returned just like before. Jenna didn't flinch. She had been broken once. That wasn't going to happen again. Then, one night, days after Macy vanished from the spotlight, Jenna received a DM. No username, no profile, just a message. You don't know me, but I was in the vault too. Macy ruined my life last year. I tried to end it. I failed. I'm glad I did. Your video brought me back. I'm not ready to speak yet, but I will be. Jenna stared at the message for a long time. She didn't cry, but her chest hurt, in the way a dam does before it breaks. She showed Layla. Layla wiped a tear and hugged her, whispering, "You saved someone. For real." Jenna whispered back, "No, we did." The final blow came quietly. A journalist picked up Jenna's video, then her story. Within a week, the reclaimers were featured on a national podcast. The movement exploded. Students across the country reached out, shared their own videos, created scrap gyms and support groups modeled after hers. One school in Chicago even painted a wall with the quote, "What they tried to kill is the very thing that will save others." At Southridge, things changed in real time. Cyberbullying workshops were introduced. A Reclaimers chapter opened on campus, and Jenna, she was offered a student seat on the district's new youth protection board. But something else happened too. In the hallway one day, someone tapped Jenna's shoulder. It was Haley, one of Macy's old crew, a quiet follower, never a leader. "I'm sorry," she said, "for laughing, for watching, for being silent." Jenna studied her. "Are you here to be seen or to change?" "I don't know yet." "Then keep walking. When you're ready, come back. We have work for you." Later that day, Layla gave Jenna a box. Inside was the same prom dress Macy had destroyed, restored, cleaned, repaired, restitched with silver threading around the hem. "I found it at the dry cleaner. Paid a miracle worker to bring it back. I figured it deserved a second life." Jenna ran her hands over the fabric. So did she. On the last day of the semester, Southridge held a Night of Courage showcase. It wasn't a prom. It wasn't a pep rally. It was something new. Students shared poetry, danced, sang, spoke, and Jenna, she walked on stage wearing the dress, the same one that had once soaked with punch and shame, now shimmered under lights reborn. Like her, she gave no speech. She didn't need to. Her walk said it all. She wasn't the shy girl anymore. She wasn't the target. She was the story. The last thread. It had been 2 weeks since the Night of Courage. 2 weeks since Jenna walked across that stage in the dress they thought they'd destroyed. 2 weeks since her inbox overflowed with messages from strangers around the world, survivors, students, even teachers thanking her for speaking what they hadn't been able to. But peace doesn't always follow victory. Sometimes, it's the silence that rattles the loudest. The anonymous message had arrived at 3:07 a.m. She wasn't acting alone. "You missed the real one." No name, no reply button, just that dot. Jenna sat in bed, staring at her screen. The room was dark. Her heart thudded against her ribs like it wanted to escape. Layla read it over her shoulder. "You think it's just someone stirring drama?" "Maybe," Jenna whispered. "Or maybe Macy was just the mouthpiece." They met with Eli, Zoe, and a few others at the scrapyard the next day. Zoe looked furious. So what? Someone even worse was pulling the strings. Who? Eli frowned. It had to be someone with access, admin level. Someone who could help Macy steal records and plant files. Jenna thought hard. Then it clicked. Principal Rourke. He'd always seemed uncomfortable around her, especially after the video went viral. At the assembly, he barely spoke. He gave praise to the courage of the youth, but never looked her in the eye. More importantly, he was the one who ignored her first email about the bullying. The same email that was leaked from the school server. A file only he had access to. Jenna didn't want to believe it, but belief had never protected her. Before action had. Layla helped her trace the digital footprint. They built a timeline, dug through email headers, and even accessed a cached backup of the private school portal. What they found chilled them. The security breach didn't start with Macy. It began 2 weeks before the dress incident. The school's IT logs showed repeated access to student files, always between 1 and 2 a.m., always from the same login, an admin level account under the initials R.R. Rourke. Still, Jenna needed more than circumstantial data. She needed a confession, and she had an idea. She requested a meeting with Principal Rourke, just a check-in, she told his secretary. For closure. When he agreed, she entered the office with her phone recording tucked inside her pocket. She sat down, smiled politely. He looked uncomfortable, shifting behind his desk like he wanted to be anywhere else. "Mr. Rourke," she began calmly, "you knew about the bullying long before the video. Why didn't you act?" He exhaled. "We get dozens of complaints, Jenna. It's hard to know which ones are exaggerated." Her eyes stayed on him. "But mine wasn't. You read it. You ignored it. Then it got leaked. Strange, isn't it? especially since that email was never printed, just viewed. He froze. A crack. You accessed my therapy files too, she said, before they were leaked. We found the logs. His voice was a whisper now. You're mistaken. Jenna stood. Her voice was steel. No, I'm not. Then she left. That night, the recording was sent to the school board, along with the logs, along with her full report. She didn't post it online. This wasn't about revenge anymore. This was about cleaning the rot out from the root. 1 week later, Rourke was suspended. An investigation was launched, not just into him but into how many students had suffered under his watch. Parents demanded accountability. Former students came forward. Whispers turned into headlines. For once, the adults were the ones who looked down, ashamed, and Jenna, she was free, truly free, not because Macy had vanished, not because Rourke was exposed, but because she had nothing left to prove. Summer came. She turned 18. She celebrated, not with a party, but a workshop. Reclaimer chapters from 3 cities met in a donated community center. They trained, shared, cried, healed. At the end of the day, Jenna stood in front of them. No script, no video. Just her voice. I used to think the worst thing they ever did to me was destroy my dress, but it wasn't. The worst thing they did was convince me I had to stay quiet to stay safe. That silence was survival. They were wrong. The truth is, when they tore that dress, they didn't shame me. They freed me. That fabric never held my worth. That night didn't end me. It revealed me. And now look at us. She gestured to the crowd. We are the stories they tried to erase, but we wrote them back louder, braver, and with fire in every line. Thunderous applause. Zoe ran to her with tears in her eyes. You did it, Jenna. No, Jenna said, smiling. We did. Later, as the sun set and the reclaimers packed up, Jenna stayed behind for a moment. Alone, she pulled the prom dress out of her bag. Held it up to the sky. It shimmered gold in the fading light. She didn't need to wear it anymore. She just needed to remember. The girl who stood in that dress, shamed, humiliated, hurt, didn't break. She rose, she rebuilt, she reclaimed. And now, she led. The end.